All right, my English teacher friends, Kristian Kuhn coming at you again, affectionately known as the Bob Ross of composition. And I got another Mad Libs exercise in which we take a look at the 20 sentence patterns. Let me explain the impetus behind this. So, in my classroom, I run two academies. One is called the Word Study Academy, which is a whole bunch of vocabulary exercises to help my students augment their vocabularies over the academic year. And the second one is called the Nuanced Academy. And in the Nuance Academy, we read a seminal text by Strunk and White called Write It Right. And in that manual, they go over very succinctly all the tricks of the trade for grammar, punctuation, syntax. But in it, they also have something called rule number 18. And rule number 18 espouses the idea that there's 12 sentence types that can be patterned 20 different ways. And I noticed that my young, emerging, struggling writers often over-rely on independent clauses and short, simple declarative sentences. So a lot of their sentences are truncated and yield that rhythm that sounds like da-da, 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 da-da. So in order to break that tendency, I explicitly teach my students how to wield the 20 sentence patterns and the 12 sentence types. So what we're going to do here is take a look at a letter written by Daniel Supernull. He's the founder of PixelFed, which is this new social media app, in an open letter to Mark Zuckerberg. And what I've done in the letter is two things. In some instances, I'll say things like insert pattern number 14. So they'll add further context to the letter. And in other instances, I will omit a sentence construct and say something like insert pattern number 6. And then based on the context, students need to replicate sentence pattern number 6. And I'll walk you through the entire exercise here. It's pretty cool. So here are the guidelines. While referencing the 20 sentence pattern cheat sheet, fill in the blank with the suggested sentence pattern. And you might be asking, what's that cheat sheet? So if you go down into the description box, I've made a PDF of the 20 sentence patterns. And in each pattern, I define the pattern, but then I give at least 4 exemplars demonstrating how to manipulate and wield that particular sentence pattern. That should help demystify it for kids. But the caveat is this. In order for students to know these patterns, they have to be pretty expert with their commas, their colons, their semicolons, dashes, ellipses, parentheticals. And that's what rules 1 through 17 do in the Strunk and White manual entitled Write It Right. So here's the letter, and you can see here in red where I'm asking students to insert certain patterns. So I'll give you an example here. Dear Mark, I hope this finds you well. I noticed something interesting today. It seems Instagram is blocking links to my open source project. You know, the one that lets people share photos without harvesting their personal data or forcing algorithmic feeds on them. I have to admit, I'm flattered. Now, here is an instance in which I'm having students add some more contextualization by inserting pattern number 15. So I print out that cheat sheet manual and I'll have students open up to pattern number 15, study it together, and then create an original sentence in which they manipulate pattern number 15. So then it goes on. We're just trying to give people a choice in how they share their memories online. So you can see here, sandwiched between that, they have to figure out the context of what an appropriate sentence pattern would be. No VCs, no surveillance, capitalism, just code and community. Remember when Facebook started, it was about connecting people, not maximizing engagement metrics. And here I subtracted a sentence, and based on the context, I want students to insert pattern number 4. So this is a rather long letter, and you can see on the next slide here, I have students experimenting with sentence patterns 9, 19A, 5, and 11. So what we do as a class is go through this, and then we just share out. And oftentimes what I'll have students do is email me the sentence pattern and I'll take like the best 4 or 5 and show them to the class just for context and just to really solidify the learning. So text is available online, very easy to find, but I put it here as well in these slides in case you want it readily accessible. So here's the whole thing. So just want to say this real quick. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can feel free to give me an email at teachingwritingcoach@gmail.com. This summer, I'm teaming up with Applied Practice, and we're offering a couple of professional development opportunities. And one is called What If We Taught AP Language and Composition like Bob Ross teaches painting? And the other is What If We Taught AP Literature and Composition like Bob Ross teaches painting? And I've taught both courses for 2+ decades. And what we'll do is go through my Nuance Academy, my Word Study Academy, plus how I use one set of frames or heuristics to write all 6 FRQs on both exams combined. So if you want information on that, you can take a look at www.appliedpractice.com and check out the dates and the cost and all that. And if you have any questions, by all means, just drop me an email and I can field those questions for you. So it's going to be some pretty cool professional development. One of the things I've done is created a Google Classroom with all of my vocabulary and Nuance Academy assignments. Plus, I have original content for, I have like 35 original rhetorical analyses, 50 synthesis essays, a ton of writing workshops that I've created around poetry, short stories, and prose. So you have access to that going forward in your pedagogical pursuits. So that's it for here. I will keep these coming in the days, weeks, months ahead. Great exercises to really hone in on some of the finer nuance qualities of your student writing. Take care for now.